What is up, roomies? My name is Matthew Makak, and if this is your first time on the channel, welcome on into Room 51. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, the comment section, the likes, and just smash all the buttons. Today, we are doing a queer review on the game Conquest Princess Fashion is Power. Now, if you have not checked out a couple of my other videos that I've already done about this game, go ahead and check those out where I give like a review and like why this game is important and all that stuff. But today I wanted to go into, is this game queer, Room 51 queer approved? And essentially what this segment is about is if a game has the ability to show queer representation, does it do that? I'm not talking about things like New York Slice, where like there's really nothing about it that could be queer. I mean, you could add queer things if you wanted to, but it doesn't have to have queer things, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. This video is about this particular game, Conquest Princess, Fashion is Power. Now, if you've been watching the channel, if you've been watching my stuff, you know that I've been loving this game, and I've been talking so much about this game. So I want to talk about the queer representation in this game. Does it do a good job of queer representation? Now, I'm going to start off with just the cover itself. I think the cover itself speaks volumes. The characters themselves, you can tell, have a queer look to them. You can't quite tell what their gender is. And even though they're like sort of animal-like creatures, you could still tell that there's some sort of like gender stuff going on, but you're not entirely sure what their gender is. Then including is like the clothing and the armor and stuff that they're wearing, the colors itself that are coming through the box. Rainbows are inherently LGBTQ+. I don't care what anybody says. This one has filled to the brim. It's got prisms all over the place showing rainbows. So right there for me is like, oh, okay, I can tell that this game has some sort of queerness to it. So that is that's gonna help me gravitate towards the game. Now, the characters themselves in the game defy gender norms. How do I know this? One, there is a story element to the game, but you don't even need to look at the story to see that there are trans characters in here. How do I know? The designer tells me. He tells me right off the bat in the way he advertises the game, but then even with the art itself, you can see, like I was talking about with the cover, also within the components, you could see that the characters express femininity, masculinity, and it all sort of like intertwines, and you're not entirely sure what the characters' genders are, just because they defy normative gender values, which is really, really cool. And like I said, you don't even need a story, because a lot of times folks will say like, oh, well, usually if you're gonna have like a trans person, you kind of have to have like a narrative or a story, something that tells you that they're transgender. In this case, I didn't even need that. I could tell just by looking at the characters. And again, with the colors and everything that is represented in this game, with the components themselves, something is telling me like, yeah, there's something queer about these characters, and the designer tells me that all of the characters in this game are either non-binary or woman. So that is dope. This game is so unapologetically itself. Just like so many LGBTQ+ folks, we have to be unapologetically ourselves in order to live our authenticity. And Seppi Yoon, who's the designer of this game, does not shy away from himself in this game. So much of him is within this game. You could see it, quirks and all, okay? And if you've met Seppi, he is a dynamite of a person. He is so cool. And you could just, you feel him through this game, like his personality, his passion, his queerness, everything is in this. So that is something really special. Now let's get into the fashion itself, right? Because the name is Conquest Princess, Fashion is Power. That name alone is shouting queer to me, okay? Now, so fashion being power, a lot of especially queer presentation has to do with fashion, okay? How you express yourself. Now, I will say that there is a lot of difficulty in expressing ourselves through clothes because of, you know, the way the world is and the way clothes fit and everything, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. We're talking about the game. So I love that this game says that fashion is power, and literally through the mechanisms of the game, you have these fashion, these armor and all this sort of stuff that you could wear, you could have your character wear, that actually gives you special abilities. That is so cool. It makes you more powerful. It makes you more confident to express yourself. And the game says it, and so does the world, okay? So does human beings. And I don't care if you're queer or not, expressing yourself through clothing has a lot, that can have a significant impact on your mood. And this is especially true then for queer LGBTQ plus folks, and specifically also like trans folks. Who are defying gender norms. So I know that a lot of folks, or I don't know about a lot of folks, but folks have said that they think of Sailor Moon and Star Trek meet and create this game. I'm gonna say that this game actually gives me a lot of Steven Universe vibes. So if you've watched that cartoon, I think you'll know what I'm talking about, because that cartoon also defies gender norms and heteronormative norms. Heteronormative norms, that's redundant. So just like Steven Universe, this game itself intertwines feminism and masculinity by consciously and beautifully smashing normative narratives. We've got sci-fi boss monsters in this game, and battles, and you know, you've got different armor and stuff, and you're shooting things, and you're dealing damage and stuff, which is typically masculine when we think about it. Like, those sort of things are sort of like targeted towards boys. Now, at the same time, we're using fashion as a source of power, which is typically used as a feminism sort of thing, or a feminine aspect in our lives, right? We think of clothing and fashion and expressing yourself through that and all this stuff as like more of a feminine thing to do. But this game completely smashes that. It literally combines those two things to create something amazing. Then, on top of that, it has mental health that is actually being used as a mechanism within the game. A lot of times when we think of mental health, we are thinking of women, right? Like people who express themselves emotionally and things like that, right? We're thinking of a more feminine approach to things. But this game says, nah, this has everything to do with everybody. And the mechanism itself, and I speak about it again in my my board game brief, so check that video out if you haven't already. But it's all about taking on the load to help others, but then also knowing when to let go of that load and allowing for others to help you. That is so powerful. That is something that is needed to be said to everyone. I think everyone can benefit from that messaging. And a lot of times in masculinity, we are told that don't express your emotions, take on the world, be strong, and blah, 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 right? Don't let anyone help you, essentially. And this says that's not true. You can't win if you don't do that. And so the mechanism is baked into there, so I love that. I've said it before in other videos, posts on social media and everything, and I'm going to say it again. This game is absolutely revolutionary for the board gaming industry when it comes to LGBTQ plus representation, diversity, and inclusivity. And it's about freaking time that something like this comes into our framework. I love this. Go ahead and support this game. I think by the time this video goes up, there will be like a couple of days left to pledge and back this game. Go ahead and back this game if you have the means, or if you could give even like $1 to the game, if you have that means as well. To just support something like this, I think that the gaming community deserves something like this, and Sepiyun has done an amazing job. So yes, absolutely, this game gets a seal, a Room 51 seal of queer approval, by far, for sure, probably the queerest of queers of them all. And I cannot wait to get this game because I backed this game. I can't wait to get the actual production. I've played the prototype, and I can't wait to have the legitimate edition of this game and everything. I'm just so excited. But yes, this game is queer approved by Room 51, Matthew Makak. But let me know your thoughts. What do you think of this game? What do you think of the queer representation in this game? And if you haven't already done so, please go ahead, like the video. And if you're still debating if you should subscribe to this video, to this channel, just remember that it's totally free to do it. Thank you. Good night. Have a good one. I'll see y'all later.